Mother Knows Death, starring Nicole and Jemmy and Maria QK.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Mother Knows Death. On today's episode, we're going to talk about what appears to be the end of the body positivity health at any size movement that is sweeping its way through Hollywood. A United States Postal Service worker who was found dead in a mail sorting machine, a student who was shot by her friend while high on marijuana, an alarming letter that was sent out to patients from a hospital, and a suicide that has been linked to an extremist group that a kid first discovered on the popular gaming platform for kids called Roblox. All that and more on today's episode. All of these Hollywood stars are like super skinny now, especially the ones that were pushing it down our throat that it was, healthy to be morbidly obese.
Well, I guess the question coming up now is, with this new rise in Ozempic and GLP-1 use in general, is it the new body positivity movement to be open about using weight loss drugs and getting plastic surgery? Or are these people just adapting to the same old Hollywood standards?
So
what do you think?
The same old Hollywood standards. Now, think about this. Right now, Ozempic's expensive for a lot of people, or those types of drugs could be over $1,000 a month. I know that they're trying to make it cheaper, but as of this moment, it's not cheap for everyone. And then on top of that, a lot of people are having a hard time even having access to these medications.
Who need it for diabetes.
But because everybody wants them and there's not enough of it. So right there, it's just unrealistic for the average person to be doing such a thing. And then you have the other thing with the plastic surgeries and stuff, because that's the newest thing that every single person has this special surgery, like Kris Jenner and all these people get these crazy face surgeries done and they look so much younger, which I actually would like to see what it looks like in real life, because who knows what it looks like with all these weird filters that they use and stuff. But didn't you just send me an article that her facelift was like $250,000
minimum?
Okay, so again, for us regular people living in the burbs, that's usually a couple years' salary for a person, for their entire year salary. Again, another unrealistic thing. So
that is like a whole family's household and more for a facelift.
I know. And it sucks for us because they're all going to be 80 years old looking like they're 30, and the regular people are just going to be looking like they're their age.
I mean, maybe this is my hot take. I don't think any of these people look good.
Some of them look good. Come on.
Lindsay Lohan, Anne Hathaway, chef's kiss. They look amazing. But
do you think they went to the same surgeon? Because they have a similar...
This surgeon, whose name, by the way, he's becoming a celebrity in his own right for his work, Steve Levine. He's who's doing all these people.
He did theirs?
I think he did theirs and Kris Jenner's and everybody's.
Because, I might actually sell one of my kids so I could get a... No, just joking. But
it's insane.
No, seriously. They're Anne Hathaway, man, she looks so good. Just and I feel like she doesn't look like she has anything done. And Lindsay Lohan too, it's just refreshed look. They look so good. But I don't know, I've been seeing all these videos go around with Kris Jenner and people showing what she really looks like when the pictures aren't filtered. And I mean, it is an improvement from what it was, but also it's just okay, it doesn't look as good as they're trying to portray. Because a lot of it has to do with the skin texture and everything else too. And they're doing that blur filter, whatever it's called, that you look like you're
face tuning a lot. And this is going to be very Caddy 5 of me. For those people that don't understand that reference, on our YouTube live every Friday, the last 5, which really ends up being the last 20 minutes episode every week, we do a segment called Caddy 5 where we air our grievances, mostly with celebrities and the dumb things they're doing.
It usually, our Caddy 5 usually has nothing to do with medicine or dying. It's just
it's just
us being total just bitches and just
us gossiping and shit talking.
Yeah.
So this is going to be very catty five of me, but like this morning, for example, I saw a picture of Bethany Frankel with a wig on
Oh
that looked
yeah.
like Michelle Pfeiffer,
And you're just like, no.
and it said it was for her 55th birthday. And in the comment, I had to go to the comments because I know everybody was thinking the same as me. She looks 80 years old. Like, and everybody in the comments was like, she's only 55. And these people are getting so much work done that they're looking even older than they want to look.
Are you so out of tune with the world that, like, you didn't know that that was coming? Think about this. Like, Michelle Pfeiffer is like a gorgeous specimen, right? She's a fine specimen of a person. Like, why would Bethany Frankel ever try to mimic her look? It's never going to happen, and people are going to destroy you. Like, why don't you think, why am I going to try to dress and emulate a super beautiful, perfect person when I don't look that way? You're just going to get teased. Like, you're walking right into it.
Because it's the genius of Bethany Frankel, where now people are talking about her, right?
Yeah,
Because
she's one of those,
otherwise,
right? She just doesn't even care if it's negative or positive. She just wants people to talk about her.
she doesn't. And she was on a podcast I listened to last week, and the amount of times this lady seriously said, "Well, I invented that," and I'm like, "Shut the fuck up!" Like, you're so annoying. Anyway, but I've said it before too, and like there are a lot of people my age. Like I see Alex Cooper, the Call Her Daddy girl, Alex Earl, the influencer, Brooks Nader, the model. They are younger than me, and they look 10 years older than me because of the amount of work these people get done. And not just plastic surgery. I'm talking about just like simply injections, what they're doing. And I don't understand why you're 28 and you want to look 45.
I don't know. Like, we need to talk to a plastic surgeon about this, and we could talk to Dr. Dimitri too about the injections. Because I do find when you look at Anne Hathaway and Lindsay Lohan, you're just like, okay, this was done right, and it's like the true. It's just the true power of what cosmetic surgery can really do to make somebody look better. But why doesn't it happen more often? I guess that's what I guess you could say Lindsay Lohan started out as a very beautiful person, but she got kind of haggard because of her whole, like,
But she was doing
whatever was going
she was
on with
not
her.
treating her body well.
And Anne Hathaway never looked bad. So, I mean, maybe they were just starting out from, because, like, really with Lindsay Lohan, if she just sobered up and stuff, like, she would look better anyway. So, I guess really it's like they were starting off at a very good place to begin with, maybe. Because I think some of these people have, not that they're unattractive, they just have a different face, what you would consider to be like the standard, and they try to make it the standard, and that's never going to work, maybe, and that's why it looks unusual.
I actually wonder, I don't know for a fact that guy did Lindsay Lohan's, and she was living in Dubai for a while. I wonder if she got it done over there.
I don't care. I just wish she would call me and tell me, because I'll be on the first plane out. Mother Knows Death is going to have to close down for a couple, at least audio only.
We've only ever gone audio only in emergency technical difficulty, or the week of my surgery and the week of your surgery. So
yeah, I should have done it the week of my surgery because I was deformed looking, but whatever.
Oh my god, shut up.
So yeah, I am curious, and a lot of it too has to do, I guess, people's face looks now, especially in Hollywood. If people are taking Ozempic, that's a whole other set of issues. We gotta have Dr. Dimitri on, because I'm sure he's having a lot of patients come in that are taking this medication that are starting to look old because they're losing so much subcutaneous fat, and like how that's getting repaired with cosmetic injections.
Yeah, I'm interested in that. And then, you know, some of these celebrities are defending it, saying it's for health reasons. And I think we can see that in some people that were morbidly obese. and have slimmed down
Well,
a
yeah,
lot.
but I just am kind of salty about it because people were trying to cancel me years ago because I was saying that it wasn't good to be obese. It was not healthy. Remember when Cosmopolitan put out that whole like healthy at any size and had a morbidly obese person on the cover and was just they were like trying to gaslight us into thinking that these people are totally healthy and their blood work's healthy and stuff. And I was just like, no,
It's not about like for what you're trying to say though, which like every time we talk about obesity we get nasty grams. So I'll be prepared for the one that's going to come after this episode, for example, right? But what you're trying to say is you don't give a shit what the person looks like physically. You're saying like their
no,
insides are not
I
healthy.
don't give a shit. Like I wouldn't consider myself to have like any kind of a like body that anybody could want. But internally it's okay. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just saying from my experience with autopsy and stuff, like when you look that way from the outside, it's because the inside is covered with fat and you don't want your organs covered with fat because you see that more often in people who die when they're young. That's just like a fact. Sorry. I'm actually listen, I'm anti Ozempic by any means. Like, there's definitely people that use it. I'm 100% anti against it that people who are trying to lose 10 or 15 pounds, I think it's ridiculous. But like, Lizzo is a prime example of someone that she needed to lose probably over 100 pounds, if not more. Like, really. That's a lot for someone to do, and it feels overwhelming and it's very hard. And I think that for a person like her, I'm glad she's taking it because that's what that drug was meant to do.
Well, even Amy Schumer, too, they quoted her in this article. She said, I'm proud of how I've looked always, but I've been working to be pain free, and I finally am. My endometriosis is better, my back is healing, I no longer have Cushing syndrome, so my face went back to normal as well. So I do think there's a bunch of celebrities using
But
it.
but she loves herself so much that she deleted every single picture off her social
Well,
media of what she
exactly.
looked like
So
before.
it is hypocritical. And then, of course, I think the most shocking one in the last couple weeks was this picture of Megan Trainor that was going around because she was always a curvier, heavier girl. And now she's, clearly done something that she's very thin. Her face is more defined. I just don't see why people care so much. Like, it's crazy.
It's funny because, of course, all these people are like, you look terrible. And then she puts out a statement and she's like, no, I look really good.
I actually think she looks amazing. But, like, I
Really?
thought she
Because
was.
I don't, I just think, I don't know, whatever.
I think she looks good, and I thought she looked good before.
I thought
Like,
she looked
she's
good
a
before
very
too.
beautiful woman.
And I just think there's like a huge difference between someone like Megan Trainor saying, body, like a body positivity, because she wasn't really, she was just like a little bit thicker, and Lizzo being hundreds of pounds overweight. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, yeah.
just because, and I always used to get mad about it because that message, if I could say any one demographic of people that you would see would die young would be women like between my age and like 60, just like so many dead women that were just fat. And that's what I correlate it to, just
But
like,
you see the reality of that with your job, where I think people don't, and then they want to assume if you challenge that you're saying somebody's not attractive, and that's not the purpose. We don't care what people look like. It's about being healthy on the inside. And there's really skinny people that aren't healthy on the inside either. So it goes both
yeah. and
ways.
and listen, you could argue that people that are on this drug are not all healthier either. I mean,
No, that's exactly what I was just about to say.
the
There's people borderlining anorexia with this drug.
well, and there's people that have, I guess that's another one of the concerns, is that there are people who have been struggling with eating disorders who are now taking this drug too. So, and like, I just feel like everybody is jumping on it so hard, and like people need to slow their roll a little bit. There there's definitely research on this type of drug because it's been out for a while as far as a diabetes drug, which is why they're able to know certain side effects that happen and stuff that commonly happen in people, and even worse things that could happen like thyroid cancer and things like that. Um I don't know. It's just, I just think everybody's so quick to go on it, and you don't really realize that you will likely have to be on it for the rest of your life. And because if you go off it, your old ways and your old eating habits and everything are going to come back. And I'm sorry, but like, so another thing that we do in our YouTube live is like we do conspiracy theories we talk about at the end of the episode
It
too,
gets
just like
wild in there.
outrageous. It gets wild. We were talking about like the moon landing and stuff last week, but like, so what is it? What does Emma call it? Overtime conspiracy or
Yeah.
whatever she calls it. But yeah, like talk about conspiracy theory. Does anybody just sit there and think like, is there a reason that this drug is getting pushed out, that every single person that takes it that gets this result of looking better in their opinion, that they need to be on it for the rest of their life? Like, to me, I'm just kind of like, nobody's questioning that a drug company is trying to get people on a drug for the rest of their life, that they're going to make trillions and trillions of dollars off people.
But isn't this like a little death becomes her? Like all these people are taking this magic potion to be so beautiful, and then when they can't have access to it anymore, or time starts running out, they literally start disintegrating.
Yeah, they're going to start like chipping off and having to carry spray paint with them and stuff. I don't know, I just think that like people need to slow their roll a little bit. I'm not saying that it's bad, but I'm also not I also I don't believe that it's a miracle drug. I think a miracle drug would be that one that you could take and it's forever. It's forever, oh, you're not going to eat as much anymore and it'll just help curb your cravings and stuff. Them putting you on a medication for the rest of your life is not any kind of miracle drug, in my opinion.
It's kind of insane.
Yeah.
All right. A USPS employee has died after getting stuck in a mail sorting machine at a distribution center.
So this story is so messed up because you're at work and this guy, nobody at work knew he was missing or anything. The only reason that they found him is because his fiance was like, he didn't come home from work. Where is he?
And she went there.
She goes there. They end up calling the fire department. They look around and they find him in this sorting machine and said he had been dead for hours. Like, what
6 to 8 hours.
Which is like essentially, a work shift almost. What happened that this guy got stuck in a machine and there was like no alarms, there was no nothing. Nobody knows what happened. Nobody saw anything. There was no clocking in or out, no reports of a supervisor, nothing.
Yeah, that is like totally weird. And then they said he was a maintenance man. So I'm wondering if there was an issue with the machine and he was fixing it, and maybe that's why an alarm. I would assume these machines have alarms for something like this because I can't imagine this is the first time something like this has happened.
So they told the fiance that the autopsy is going to take a couple months, and that's because obviously just because toxicology takes so long, and they're just an investigation too, because first they're going to want to look at the body and do the autopsy and do toxicology to make sure that he wasn't intoxicated while operating the machines, because that could obviously affect how somebody operates the machine. So they'll look for illegal substances, but also, have you ever taken like Benadryl or something and it's like, don't operate machinery when on this medication?
Yeah, when I take Benadryl, it's like terrible. Like you're drugged and can't do anything.
Yeah, so they'll check for all that stuff with the toxicology, and then they're going to check to see what his cause and manner of death were. They're going to see if he died from, like, if it was truly an accident and he was squeezed in the machine, because, they're going to have to do an investigation too with the actual machine to see if it was malfunctioning. And sometimes, like, with certain machines like that, like, if a person has a scarf on, it's like less likely with a man, because sometimes they usually don't have longer hair, but you hear about people putting their hair in ponytails and stuff. Like, they could get grabbed into the machine sometimes. So they'll just try to do an investigation to see like how the guy ended up there. I mean, there's always the potential of suicide and homicide too, even though rare. Like, did somebody kill him and shove him in there? Like, the possibilities of what happened were endless. It's most likely an accidental thing, but you don't know.
Well, the fiance is upset too because they issued a statement and said, "Oh, we're saddened by the loss of our employee, but don't worry, the facility's still operating." And she's saying it was just disrespectful and didn't even mention his name or that he was an Air Force veteran or anything. And it is a little disrespectful. Like, okay, we probably assume that the facility is still working, so chill out.
Is anyone worried? Like, who is actually waiting for something to come in the mail?
Me. I love the mail a lot. It's the last old-timey thing we have. I didn't sign up like all of you guys did to get the notice every day what's
I
coming.
don't look at it. I'm just like,
It's the last surprise I have, like, every day. I think Ricky knows this more than anybody because he lives here, obviously, but, like, it is, like, my last old world excitement that I don't know what's gonna be in
but
my
what do you
mailbox.
get? I get like
Nothing.
ads
Yes,
for casinos and like shit that like I throw in the trash and like coupons to get my roof replaced.
yesterday I got 8 pieces of mail and they were all spam, which sucks, but, like, sometimes, Devin will send me a little thank you card or something, and I think it's so sweet, and I like that.
So like don't worry, the mail's still going.
I
Sorry,
like the mail.
I wasn't worried. I use like other services that are actually more reliable. Sorry, Mike, I know you're listening. We love our mailman so much. Well, it's my mailman, but Maria is just of association because she used to live here. But he's a listener.
I have
We're
a good
not we
mailman
don't
too.
mean to be talking shit on your organization.
I used to have this mail person that would walk through my backyard, which inappropriate, and she would scare the
It is
shit out of me
inappropriate. Who cares? Listen, if you have to be outside all day
because
in the
I'm not.
cold and rain and shit, you're not going to just let your mail person like cross your lawn.
No,
You're
because
cozy in your house, like drinking your hot
no,
chocolate and watching them walk through the snow, and you're judging them because they're walking across your lawn.
no, because it doesn't make sense to go. It's the longer way to go through my backyard to get to where my mailbox is, so it didn't make sense. And I was like editing at the dining room table all the time, and then she'd walk by and scare the shit out of me because I'm not prepared for somebody to be in my backyard.
Oh God.
But if it made sense, I don't care, but it didn't make sense. All right, a 26-year-old pharmacy student was shot by her friend after they smoked weed together, and the friend became paranoid, thinking that she was going to be stabbed.
So we've talked about this several times on this show about how it doesn't happen to all people, but some people, when they smoke weed, it induces psychosis in them, especially if they have an underlying mental health condition or a family history of an underlying mental health condition. So I guess this friend had went over her house to help her cut her dog's hair, and the woman who killed her ended up thinking that she was holding these scissors cutting the dog's head and thought that she was going to stab her. She was like having a paranoid hallucination that she interpreted that her friend was going to stab her with these scissors she was cutting the dog's hair with.
But, like, where did the gun come from? Did she just have it in her purse, or was it the
She
other
had it in
girl's
her
gun?
room. She had it in her room.
But wasn't she at the girl's house that she shot?
No, I don't know. I thought that she was at her house. I thought that the pharmacy student's the one that went over her friend's house to cut the dog's hair.
Okay, but regardless, so she thinks she's gonna get stabbed, so she shoots her and claims she didn't mean to, and then she also shot herself accidentally in the stomach.
I don't know what the story is.
Well, she's been charged with first-degree reckless homicide. The story's just sad. I mean, this girl that was the student was in her last year of pharmacy school. She was hoping to move to Florida. She just celebrated her birthday.
I mean, on one hand, you're like, was it really the weed that just made her like go nuts, or is she just using that as an excuse? Like, did they get in a fight? Did something happen? I mean,
I know I defend weed a lot when you challenge it, and I will say, like, definitely do see people that have these issues while smoking, but that seems like another drug was involved, or she had a serious issue going on, and like
well,
you're saying, was using it as an
there could have
excuse.
been too, because that's, I was thinking that was a possibility too. So in the investigation, they'll check the drugs themselves if there's anything left over to see if they were actually and where they got it from too. But we know that the weed stores now, I mean, they sell pretty potent marijuana, so it's just enough to cause people to have problems if they're going to have problems from it.
Totally.
Do you think like one one thing that I noticed that I mean, like, I don't want to get into this conversation again, but just like there are so many weed stores. To the point where this week Atlantic City was like, you can't put any more weed stores. There's too many.
Because they're making a ton of money, and I think they get extra taxes on them, so they're making the towns a lot of money.
It's just like from my house to your house, which is what, 18 minutes? There seriously is like 10 of them. It's just like, really? It just seems out of. And listen, like, I directly correlate it with how everybody sucks at driving now because everybody's high. That's my personal scientific study.
I read an article a couple years ago that when weed was made legal in Colorado, it like single-handedly changed the economy there because of the tax revenue it was bringing in.
Yeah,
So I think
I'm
that's
sure.
why they're allowing
I mean,
so
like,
many of them.
they say that, but and I'm sure it does, but like, who's it making money? Because it didn't improve my town at all or anywhere around here.
Your
So
town sucks. Like you, I live in a way shittier town than you, and I think my like streets look nicer. My trash comes on time every week.
listen, it's a soft subject, so don't bring it up. My street, please. My street looks like the like the pavement or the street itself, the asphalt. It just looks like such shit.
Yeah,
It like ruins the vibe of the street. It's terrible. Just like, whatever. I'm not gonna go on a rant about that because any of my neighbors that are listening will 100% get pissed off too at the same time about it. But all right, so unfortunately, like, we'll have to hear more about this case because I feel like the investigation in this case is really important because obviously, like, people lie and say, "Oh, I heard voices and I was doing that," because they're trying to get out of trouble. So, like, we don't really know exactly what happened.
this episode is brought to you by The Gross Room.
Guys, every week we do a Forensic Friday. This week we talked about the techniques of cutting out someone's tongue at autopsy and why we would do that and how it is a very unusual way and not what you would ever think of if I told you to go just cut someone's tongue out. So that's pretty interesting case. And don't forget, tomorrow we have our YouTube live. As we've been saying that, we cover stories that we don't cover on Mother Knows Death. And of course, anything that happens towards the end of the week, we talk about. And then we also do our Caddy 5, where we just talk about other stuff that's circulating in the world that really has nothing to do with Mother Knows Death material for the most part. And also we talk about random conspiracies too, which is just fun. So,
And this week we'll have a very special announcement that will be heard there first, days before we say it anywhere else.
yes.
So you don't want to miss that. Head over to thegrossroom.com now to sign up and get access info to the YouTube Live. So last month, over 500 patients were shocked to receive a letter stating they were dead despite very much being alive.
So I read this article, and some of the people who are interviewed are saying it was just very shocking and upsetting. I'm just like, why? You're not dead. Don't you know you're not dead? Like, what's the big deal?
I wouldn't care. I mean, the letter, like, I feel like I'd laugh at something like that because it would be ridiculous, but I would be worried. I don't know how this works when you die, but like let's say if you die at the hospital, do they alert somebody that
No.
you've died? Okay, because I don't know how that works. So at first I was thinking I could see why people would be upset if maybe the protocol was they alert someone, I don't know how, that you have died, and then like maybe your social security gets cut off, like things like that could lead to other problems down the road. Because didn't we have a story like that in the past where somebody was falsely pronounced dead? Or no, somebody was using the wrong social security number and they thought they were dead. They entered the wrong social security number for a person that had died, and then the person that was alive, all this stuff started getting messed up and they couldn't get benefits anymore and things like that.
And I guess we did have a question about that for, I guess it would be funeral directors, like when a person dies, because we've talked about this in several circumstances too, where people are stealing like their dead mother's social security and stuff. Like, when someone dies, whose responsibility is it to alert social security that that person's dead? Is it the funeral home? like, I don't know if it's the funeral home because everyone doesn't go to a funeral home either. Just, I don't know whose responsibility it is because it can't be the hospital because people die at home. I don't know what it is, but or is it just the family's responsibility? Like you're supposed to report when a person's dead. I'm not sure.
I
But
feel like when we talked about that last story, it was an error on behalf of the funeral home that entered the
po-
incorrect social security number.
yeah,
But that was
possibly.
like months and months and months ago, so I don't remember the specifics. But I can understand people being worried about that, but like to be like so in distress and upset that you accidentally got a letter that you're dead, like you're sitting there reading it, so you know you're alive.
Yeah, I just think like why would you even that the first thought wasn't just like, okay, this is obviously a mistake. I just can't like this woman didn't even want to put her name out there because she was so upset and distraught over this. Like
It,
she has to be like 90 and just like on edge about the word because she knows it's coming soon or something. I don't know.
People are just getting their panties in a twist for like no reason.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
Listen, unacceptable that it happened, but like you're alive and it literally didn't affect you at all. It was an error.
It's a weird error for sure. And I wonder like how that happened. It almost seems like it might have been like purposeful or something like cuz it's not it's if a letter went out, someone had to physically type something like that up, right? Like would a computer just glitch and all of a sudden make this fake letter that says you're dead and like I don't
No,
know.
but they might have like templates pre-generated in the system and then they just hit like send automatically if somebody has died because it also gave instructions for how their estate could deal with I guess the remainder of their medical bills and anything else going on there. Um I could see how it could happen, but like you send it to 531 people. It's just kind of like how were the people selected? Was it a specific group of people? I don't
I
know.
would
It's
love
just
to
very
get a letter
interesting.
like that. I would have like hung it up in my house or something.
I don't understand. Like, I could foresee a lawsuit coming out about
Oh
emotional
God.
distress or some absolute bullshit. Like, I can't get behind that. It was an accident. Relax. All right, this last one's really disturbing. So, last year, this woman's 13-year-old daughter killed herself, which really surprised the family because she didn't seem to have any indications that she was feeling that way. And about a week after her death, detectives got in touch with the mother and said that the kid was part of this extremist group she found through Roblox called TCC, which stands for True Crime Community. And they are a group that glorifies school shooters, romanticizes them, obsesses with them, and they feed off each other.
Yeah, so we've talked about Roblox before because this is any parent that has a kid between the age of 6 and 14, I'd say, their kid more than likely is either on Roblox or has talked about Roblox because it's just a really there's millions and millions of kids on this worldwide. Um so my and I'm going to sound like a really old person right now because when I grew up, it was Nintendo, right? Roblox seems, at least my understanding, is that you go on Roblox and then there's like a bunch of different games within Roblox that kids could pick that they want to play. And then they're able to play with their friends. The, so, one of the biggest negatives with this is I believe that anyone can make a game on Roblox and put it up there for the kids to play.
Yeah.
So there's no like it's not this all of the little games, individual games are made by Roblox. They're made by users. So obviously there's going to be a huge problem there because there's no set of standards as to like what's acceptable and what's not. And then you're just going to have a bunch of people that are like trying to influence little kids and we've heard about this all the time about like Kim Kardashian saying her son like walked into some room on Roblox and there was like a sex tape of her and stuff and there's sexual trafficking on there. There's all this crazy stuff going on there. So which I don't know how they can monitor that honestly if they're letting any old person put stuff on.
Well,
So
don't you think they could monitor it by making the games have to be approved before they're public by somebody that works there, not
yeah,
like a real person?
and maybe they are approved to some extent, but I guess the problem is that when you go in these games, sometimes you could go in like a room and a room and a room and a room, and then that's where like the shady thing is. The kids have showed me stuff sometimes that I'm kind of like, I don't, not, I haven't seen any sexual stuff that I've been like, what? But I have seen some stuff that I felt like was a little bit too scary and like murdery, kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, they were
Um,
playing a game a couple weeks ago and I overheard her being like, "Oh, don't shoot me." And I'm like, "What is happening?"
yeah, and then there was this game that they were really into a couple months called Dress to Impress on there, and it was like a game where, which I thought it was cool at first, kind of like I try to look at what they're doing on there, and the kids, you go in this room and there's like all these things available, like skirts and shirts and shoes and hairstyles, and you have this avatar and you could change. They do like, they do fashion shows, so they'll do a theme like 80s, and you pick all the stuff and you could change the colors of the clothes and the hair and the makeup and all, and then to look 80s themes, and then you do a fashion show, and then you have your avatar walk down, and then like you and your friends along with anyone else that you're playing with can like vote, and you could win if you're doing, if you got first place or second place or whatever. But then as that game, it was really good at first, but then as it started having updates and stuff, it was like the clothes were way too slutty, like it's sexy lingerie, like Sabrina Carpenter. And like these games are, kids are playing these. They're not, there's no adults playing these games. It's children.
Well, there are adults playing
And
these
well,
games.
they're losers. So anyway, like I'm just like, this is just so inappropriate. The way the girl was like, so then they started introducing all of these poses, and the poses were like way too sexual, and I just was like, yeah, I'm not into this anymore. And whatever, like maybe I'm kind of a prude or whatever, but I'm just like, I don't see why a girl needs to be wearing like sexy lingerie and a garter belt and thigh high stockings. At like, my kids don't need to dress up an avatar to look like that. It's just weird. So with Roblox, they're constantly saying that they're doing all this stuff to try to make it safe for kids, but yet every single week in the news we're talking about something else that happened.
They are not, and there's basic things they could implement, which is like, isn't there a big thing first of all, where it's like they could have no friends at all, or they can accept friend requests from everybody. Like it's
Yeah.
not, it can't be approved. So they could also be approving these games to avoid situations like this. And then they could be blocking out certain words. Like they should not allow any words like email addresses, phone numbers, if they could detect that somebody's putting in an address or saying Discord with a different username. They should be blocking out those words so kids cannot be taken off of Roblox, because that's what happened in this case. The mom ended up finding the girl's journal detailing how she met the people from this extremist group on Roblox. They encouraged her to move over to their Discord page, and then she ended up following them on TikTok later. So the problem with these predators is they're meeting the children on Roblox and then taking them off of the app to have unmonitored conversations with them.
So, all right. So part of the problem though is, so Roblox, I think they're total like scumbags, and I'm not trying to stand up for them at all. But there has, like, parents at this point, if you're buying your kid a device like an iPad or a phone, you have to know about this kind of stuff. And there's a way to avoid this. And like, I know because I do it. The kids, there's a simple thing, at least if you have an Apple device, that you could put to monitor your kid's phone or iPad that doesn't allow them to download any apps without your permission. So, in my opinion, there's no reason a 13-year-old has a TikTok. And so just don't let them download the app. And there's no reason a 13-year-old has a Discord. Like, if she didn't have those two apps and didn't have any way to access them, then like this would have never, that part of it would have never happened.
But what if she's accessing them at a friend's house?
Listen, it's completely possible that she can, because like you still have to deal with your friend's the kids having phones that don't have any kind of limitations. It's always a problem that a parent's going to have. But like, as far as what's in your control of it, and they spend the most time at your house, the most control of it is to just when they want to download an app, like my kid wants to download an app, they send me apps all the time. Sometimes it's like I want to have a Hollister app so I could look at what the new shirts are. Other times it's like I look at these apps and I don't even have an example of one, but there's oftentimes I look at it and then I'll read the ratings and it'll just say like, oh, it's for 14 plus or 18 plus and
I
this
mean, there's
that.
ones that there's this one, I feel like it's called like Your Story or something like that. And it presents as like an innocent game. But then if you ever see the previews for it, it'll be like, I got pregnant by my sister's husband. What do I do? And
Yeah.
you're like, what?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
this is
So
being advertised to children through other kids' games.
and all of the apps that exactly, and that's what happens because they play certain games and then that's how they hear about the other games and stuff. And listen, like stuff slips through the cracks all the time because kids are smart. Like the same thing with me. When my mom told me I couldn't watch MTV, I went over to my friend's house and watched it. Like kids do that. That's like normal shit. So you just have to like try to tackle it every single time it happens. And I feel like that's the biggest thing with like it's just so easy. If a kid has access to download the apps, they could download TikTok and create themselves an account. And like, how would you ever even know it? Yes, they could go on their friend's phone, but that's kind of a pain in the ass and they won't be on it anywhere near as much as they will be at your house.
No, and what's scary about this group in particular is that they apparently encourage kids to take their own life or the lives of others through school shootings or bombings. So it seemed like that's the one option the girl took.
So
And then
who runs these groups? Can't they like, since the police are involved now?
Exactly. Like it's not that hard to find people. Like there are
What exactly is, because I understand what TikTok is. What is Discord exactly? Is it?
We've been over this 1,000 times. It's
I
similar
still don't
to
really understand it.
it's like Reddit. It's a forum website, but specifically for gaming. People use it for other things too. Like I think Cat Mom told us on the YouTube live she uses it to discuss books she's reading. So it's just a forum website to talk about anything, but it's not like Reddit. It's not monitored. So talk about anything.
So it's because like we've been hearing that with all of like school shooters and these like political shooters and stuff, like their Discord is like they're having conversations that definitely should have been flagged by something, some of the stuff that some of these people are saying.
Well, Discord needs to have some responsibility too. But then I guess if you say that, then Reddit's going to have some flagging too. And like, it's just like, where do you draw the line?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. And listen, like, I understand from this mom's perspective. She has a 13-year-old kid. Like I said, so many kids. I don't know what the percentage of children that use Roblox, but it's high. Like, it's just a lot of kids use Roblox. You assume as a parent that they're on a platform that's made for children, that it's going to be like the most safe thing. And her kid was introduced to all of this stuff and is now dead. So like, of course, she wants to go after Roblox, which she should, because I think the more people that go after Roblox, the better. But I think
she made it very clear she doesn't want money. She just wants them to implement the changes. So this doesn't happen to more kids.
I mean, like, I guess my thing is like, let Roblox, you can't sit around and wait for something like Roblox to implement the changes. Like, you have to do your part as much as possible.
Well, I mean, maybe the best thing ever will happen, which is they have so many lawsuits in the next couple years that it will bankrupt them and then they'll be forced to close down anyway.
I doubt that.
I doubt it, but I mean,
they make so much money. I just can't even explain to you. I don't even know what their numbers are. I just think if Zuckerberg has the potential to really clamp down on children's activity on Facebook with the Messenger, then Roblox, who has so much more money for that, can do it as well.
They have the ability, because anybody that could code has the ability.
Yeah.
They're
and I mean, with
not
Facebook,
to do it.
It's been around for a while for the Messenger kids. I mean, like, the kids were doing it during the pandemic, and that's already been 5 years. Like,
listen,
it's been around.
It's not like they're hiring me and they're like, all right, code this entire gaming platform to be safe for children when I could do very basic stuff. Like, these people are developing games. They're professional coders. They can do whatever they want. They're choosing not to. And that's the problem here.
Yeah. I mean, we've had enough examples on this show that it seems like this is intentional, which is just really upsetting, honestly. But I mean, just I guess the advice that I feel like have said this every time now, because a lot of it is kids getting recruited off of Roblox, right?
Yeah.
And they aren't stopping it. It's happening all the time. So now, like, what
They can
control do we have?
They can just do very simple things. And I know people could get around
Listen,
changes,
I'm like
but
a hair away from just I never want to be that mom that like doesn't let my kids do what like stuff like that, because of course I will be like that with social media. I don't give a shit. But I guess with Roblox I'm just kind of like I just want to let them do it and this and that, but I'm just every week I'm getting closer and closer to pulling the plug on it because of this stuff that just frightens the hell out of me.
I don't blame you at all. I mean, I worry about my future of motherhood and how I'm going to like approach this at all.
I mean, like, I luckily for me, like my kids are kind of like getting over Roblox. And I don't know if it's like the actual platform is just fizzling out or just like my kids are getting older and they're interested in other types of things to do. Hopefully that's it. But like it's big and there's a lot of kids on there that are actually really little, like 6 and 7 years old on there. So,
Yeah. All right, well, on that somber note, we have some new merch dropping this weekend, so keep an eye out for that. Also, please head over to Apple or Spotify, leave us a review, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you have questions or stories for us, please email them to stories@motherknowsdeath.com.
have a good weekend, guys. Thank you for listening to Mother Knows Death. As a reminder, my training is as a pathologist assistant. I have a master's level education and specialize in anatomy and pathology education. I am not a doctor and I have not diagnosed or treated anyone, dead or alive, without the assistance of a licensed medical doctor. This show, my website, and social media accounts are designed to educate and inform people based on my experience working in pathology so they can make healthier decisions regarding their life and well-being. Always remember that science is changing every day and the opinions expressed in this episode are based on my knowledge of those subjects at the time of publication. If you are having a medical problem, have a medical question, or are having a medical emergency, please contact your physician or visit an urgent care center, emergency room, or hospital. Please rate, review, and subscribe to Mother Knows Death on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or anywhere you get podcasts. Thanks.